Alright guys, Paige is walking on the treadmill. Chaos is taking a nap. Hello, Katie. Havoc is going to help me with the filming of this next video, I think. Hopefully. If he's not distracted now. Here you go, you get both boys. Go bear. They're important to this one because we are filming what was unjustly called the Booktube Dog Tag. I have amended that to make it the Booktube Cat Dog Tag so that we can do it involving these two fine folk. So let's get into it. So as I said, this is the Cat Dog Book Tag today. Can't remember who I saw do this. Probably Michael K. Vaughn, but I immediately knew I wanted to do it. As far as the boys went, they are about half dog anyway. Believe me, they have more tendencies of a dog than they do of a cat. So I'm really excited about this one. I've wanted to do it for a long time and went on my little hiatus. I know the introduction is all weird this time. I do have my coffee, of course. And the shirt is nothing new, it's just a Jimi Hendrix shirt. Just a Jimi shirt, right? This is a short prompt that I'm going to take way too long with because I've been so excited for it. So let me go on and get into it. First is, tell us about them. So, I have actually been planning to do a video just about Havoc and Chaos. One where we sort of travel around with them, see what their day is like, and you learn tidbits about these two interesting critters. There's 5 of you that would be interested in that, but I don't really care. It's more of a vanity project than anything. So basically, to keep it short, they're both rescues. I have a family friend there in Florida where we used to live that brings in and rehabilitates animals of all sorts, and they were sort of a package deal. Havoc is 1 year older than Chaos or thereabouts. Chaos has some severe issues with anxiety, but for some reason, as a wee one, he latched on to Havoc out of everyone, which is weird because Havoc is just energetic and all over the place, loves on everyone, total opposites in that regard, but they're attached at the hip to each other, cannot be away from one another, and one of these days we'll get into their tragic backstories and all that, but basically let it be known that they grew up around a host of other animals that were not cats. And many of which were dogs that they, slept in the same area as, hence the reason they ended up with many dog tendencies, such as playing fetch, barking, growling. It's a whole thing. Number 2 is what would be their favorite book. So this was a pretty simple one as well. Chaos is most definitely the intellectual. If I were to walk in here one day and see him reading, I think it would be A History of the English-Speaking Peoples by Winston Churchill. This book set. He just seems the type, And if he decided to slum it with us plebeians and read something more to our taste, it would most likely be Ambrose Bierce or H.P. Lovecraft. Havoc is, he's a fun-loving kind of guy, He is also a troublemaker that 100% lives up to the name of Havoc. So the first book that I could see him picking up is Lee Clark's Carnivore, about a massive T-Rex that wakes up in the Arctic and chomps a bunch of people in half. It's gory, it's ridiculous, and it's a whole lot of fun. For something more serious in regards to him, Havoc is definitely a runt, if you will. He is significantly smaller than most cats, especially most cats that are fully grown. So for this, I think he would pick up a book about some small, seemingly defenseless critters that manage to overcome every adversity above them and beat out the odds again and again and again, and show the bigger, tougher creatures that they are a force to be reckoned with. Therefore, Havoc, I think, would be a big fan of Richard Adams' Watership Down. Number 3 is to use the first letters in book titles to spell their names. It was hard to decide on some of these because there were so many cool books that could have worked out, but this is where I ended up. Starting with Chaos, we have C with Rex Miller's Chain Gang. And for those of you that have not read this book, this is one of the most brutal and disturbing crime fictions you could possibly pick up. I mean, it is super dark, and just some really, really messed up things happen in this book. I absolutely love it. I'm about due for a reread. If you have not picked this up, or any others by Rex Miller, be warned. It's some rough stuff in here. H for Chaos was Barry Hoffman with Hungry Eyes. This is one that I have not read yet. I picked it up recently at Goodwill. Cover caught my eye. It sounds pretty great. Basically about a woman who spends a number of years trapped in a man's basement, just in an iron cage. She finally escapes, but it's done permanent damage to her. So she feels like she's being watched at all times. She's extremely paranoid, and it eats away at her psyche. So really interested in picking that one up. A was a really easy one here. This is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. This is a very special edition that I own here. Very proud to have this. Has artwork all throughout, and it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous copy that I think Chaos would enjoy. Oh, I went with Carolyn B. Cooney's Out of Time. This is a Carolyn Cooney that I have not read. Obviously deals in time travel. It actually says it's the companion to a book called Both Sides of Time. I don't know if that means that I need that one in addition to this one before I can read it. Kind of hope I don't, because I'm hoping not to buy more books anytime soon. Then S. I picked 2 here. First being Satan's Serenade. Still haven't picked it up, gotta be honest. And then I really wanted a reason to end off with some Stephen King, so I also picked Skeleton Crew. Now for Havoc. H, I picked the book, then realized that some of you might say, well, that doesn't count, because technically the word "the" starts the title off rather than the word that starts with H. But I'm going to show it, and then I will show one that actually starts with H, just for you who are a little more particular about the things. So, for H, I picked William Hope Hodgson with House on the Borderland. I love this cover. And if you're one of those that's saying it doesn't count because the word "the's" there, then I also picked John Coyne's Hobgoblin, with another awesome step back cover. If this thing would focus one of these days, check it out. Killer. For A, I went with a classic in the field, or what has become a classic anyway. This is Seth Grahame-Smith with Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. If you've not read this, you need to read it. It is a blast. It's so much fun. So much fun to read. Now, V was the absolute hardest in any of this. And I was kind of aggravated because I'm looking at my bookshelf. I have multiple W's, I have multiple Z's, I have X's, but I couldn't find any friggin' V's. And I finally found one. It's not really what I would pick immediately, but it is what it is. This is Andre Norton with Victory on Janus. O was a little bit simpler. This is one that I have told you folks before. If you're at all interested in science fiction of old, you definitely need to pick this up if you can find a copy. This is a man that was immensely talented and often gets overlooked nowadays. This is Clifford D. Simak with Over the River and Through the Woods. And finally for C, again I picked two. One for those that are like, all right, we don't want any more King, and the other because it was the obvious choice. So for the non-King version, I have Christopher Fowler with City Jitters. Short story collection, of course. And for the obvious one, Stephen King with Christine. Question 4 is, what's the relationship with books? So, Havoc's first thought when he gets near books is that tasty? Unfortunately, a lot of my books that I have kept lower on my bookshelves have been subjected to taste testing by Havoc. That said, both boys, when Paige and I are, watching a video on the television, if we're watching a Booktube video, they will sit on the couch and happily watch every moment of it. Chaos, of course, I think soaks up every bit of it. He probably, he might as well be a walking encyclopedia of knowledge. Havoc, he enjoys the pretty covers and enjoys the schlockier stuff, if nothing else, that I tend to move towards. 5 asks, what's your favorite book with a dog or cat? For the dog side, I picked A Skeleton in the Family by Lee Perry. They have an Akita named Byron. He is on this cover. He is also on the next cover with The Skeleton Takes a Bow. Right there, and he is a lot of fun. He is constantly causing hijinks and trouble with Sid, the walking, talking skeleton, and their relationship is just kind of adorable. In regards to a cat, this was, again, a pretty easy one. Pet Sematary. Come on. It's a classic for a reason, folks. I know it's King, but it's a classic. Get over it. Number 6 is to find a book on your shelves with a dog or cat on the cover. I found both. So, for the cat Who Came Home for Christmas by Cleveland Amory. And for a dog, G.S. Burdick with The Accursed. That's right, you get 3 dogs in one. That more than makes up for it, right? And finally, a book in your TBR with the word dog in it. Now for the cat side, I would go with, again, The Cat Who Came Home for Christmas. Mostly because this is a memoir that I am hoping to pick up, if not next month, then in January, but probably next month since it's Christmas Eve. For dog, couldn't be simpler, Robert Calder with The Dogs. And that was your quick jump through of the Cat Dog book tag. I hope that this issue has been rectified for those of you that have cats but do not have dogs. And I'm going to give you guys more cat footage because that's kind of what this is all about, right? So I'm going to end off here, leave you folks with the good stuff, And I will see you again soon for some kind of video that I haven't decided on yet. So, thank you for joining me. Stay safe. Answer some of these questions below. Have a great week. Cheers, everybody. Oh, buddy. This is his new blankie. As if every blankie isn't his blankie. Come on, don't be shy. He's been doing a lot of sleeping. We're just getting into winter, and he has been at constant war with the leaves. Every time one knocks against this window here, he feels that he must protect the house, so it's keeping him tired, but that's okay. And there's Chaos. What do you want to tell the folks? I told them all about how smart you were, and they want to learn more about you. One of these days I'll tell them. Okay? If Chaos were human, he would most likely be one of those folks that travels the world trying gourmet foods. Not sure what sort of connoisseur that is exactly, but I just feel like he would do it, and he would have the money for it because he's so freaking intelligent. He'd probably do something like invent a teleportation device, patent it, and live off of that. It's boring. You jerk.
It's like, I'll show you boring.
Don't do this. Get him. Get your snake. Get your snake. Yeah, you have him. No, you're kicking yourself in the head. Oh, there you go. Get him, boy.